Hi, and welcome back to Let's Bake and Cook Stuff. Today we're making chocolate oatmeal peanut butter cookies. Apparently you guys like chocolate stuff. I'm making a chocolate thing today, and it's no bake as well. We're starting out with 1/2 of a cup of milk, a stick of butter, so that's a 1/2 cup of butter. Okay. 1/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. I don't know if you've ever tried this recipe before. It's a no-bake, it's a cookie, it's a no-bake cookie, chocolate oatmeal peanut butter cookies. It's got, I'm practically naming all the ingredients in it. It's chocolate, oatmeal, and peanut butter, plus a few other things. 2 cups of granulated sugar. Okay, we are going to cook this on medium until it comes to a boil. When it comes to a boil, we're going to turn it down to medium-low, and then we're going to boil it for 4 minutes. So it's a quick, easy, and no bake. Oh, I forgot the coffee. We're going to add a teaspoon of instant coffee granules. This is optional. You know how I like to say the coffee granules, and then just coffee in general, brings out the flavor of chocolate. It's not going to taste coffee-ish, although that wouldn't be a bad thing, right? So we're just going to stir this and cook it. Once it comes to a boil, we're going to lower the heat to medium-low, and then we're going to let it simmer for 4 minutes. They're saying a lot more people are cooking at home now because of the pandemic, so I know I am. Well, you have to cook, right? Can't go anywhere. My sister Laura gave me this recipe. I was probably 10 years old the first time I made it. All of my sisters are great cooks. They all hate cooking though. It's funny. I got all the cooking love. They got the cooking smarts, and I love to cook and I like to experiment, but they do not like to cook. My sister, I think Laura cooks on Thanksgiving. My sister Marty, she doesn't cook. If there's not something cooked for her, she'll just have crackers and cheese for dinner. My sister Debbie, she'll cook out of necessity, but the newspaper on Thursdays used to have a food section where they would share recipes. They would share recipes with other readers. So if you had a recipe suppose you had a recipe that you grew up using. Like suppose I couldn't find the recipe for this recipe for these chocolate oatmeal peanut butter cookies. So I'd write into the paper and I'd say, I really used to love this recipe when I was a kid, and now I can't find it. If somebody could share their recipe for the chocolate oatmeal peanut butter cookies. And then very often people would send in a recipe, and sometimes it would actually be the very recipe that you actually used at the time. So it was kind of cool. I participated in the 90s. I worked in downtown Riverside, and a lot of us were into it. And we would share recipes, and we would always read what was in the newspaper on Thursdays. You don't want to rush this process, because if you do, your sugar won't dissolve all the way and your cookies will be grainy, and that's gross. Okay, it's boiling. And you don't have to stir continuously, but you want to stir often just to keep it from scorching. There's milk in there and butter, and you don't want it to scorch. So I'm going to measure out our peanut butter. We need a 1/2 cup. It smells very chocolatey in here. Okay, it's been 4 minutes. We are going to add our peanut butter. I use chunky, but you can use the creamy in this if you want. Okay, 3 cups. I use old-fashioned oats. The quick cooking, but I wouldn't use instant. 3 cups. Teaspoon of vanilla. Okay. You're gonna give this a stir. You're gonna try and melt that peanut butter in there. And then we're gonna drop these by spoonsful onto wax paper covered cookie sheets. They go in the fridge for about 15 minutes, 30 minutes. And then you have delicious chocolate oatmeal peanut butter cookies. My niece Chanda calls these dookie balls. They look kind of like dookie. But they taste good, so. I thought these were the greatest invention. First time I saw this recipe. So easy, so quick, and so good, right? The holy trinity of wanting to cook something when you've got easy, quick, delicious. Meaning just a few minutes, you're gonna have cookies that taste good. You have oatmeal in them, peanut butter, cocoa powder, they're good for you, right? Health food, it's practically health food. I'm joking. Okay, looks like we're gonna get just a little over a dozen now. These are good size too. I would, if I was making this for a party or something like that, I'd make them smaller, little bite size. It's not like a whole one, but that'll work. All right, I'm just gonna flatten these a little bit with my hand. They're kind of hot, so if they're too hot for you to touch like that, then just use a little cup. Just flattening them out. Just a little tiny tap. And you don't even have to do that if you don't want to. You can do this without the scoop too. You can just use a regular spoon. When I was growing up making these, we did not have the ice cream scoop to make that with. We had ice cream scoops, but we didn't have ice cream scoops that you used for cookies. I didn't think about doing that until I was way into my 20s, I don't think. But I do like doing them with the scoop. It makes them all the same size. So, and I'm really, as I've probably mentioned before, I'm really bad at eyeballing things. So I like and if that matters to you, if you don't care that they're the same size, then see, this one's smaller, but it's because we ran out of the batter. So anyway, these are gonna sit in the fridge for, well, they're pretty hot, so maybe about half an hour. And then we're gonna come back and we're gonna have some chocolate oatmeal peanut butter cookies, a recipe from the 60s. I know. Okay, our chocolate oatmeal peanut butter cookies have been in the fridge for about 10 minutes and they're perfect and ready and they're good. They're almost like a candy bar. In fact, they're more like a candy bar than a cookie. Maybe I should call them chocolate oatmeal peanut butter candy. But anyway, then you put them on a nice little serving tray, bring them to your friends, have them here. You know, they freeze well, stick them in the freezer. All these little broken pieces are your payment. All right. And again, you could get more of them if you made them smaller. These are kind of big, actually. So, all right. Chocolate oatmeal peanut butter cookies. That was less than a half an hour. Okay. Took a couple of minutes just to get all the ingredients together, and then a couple of minutes to cook it, and then a couple of minutes in the fridge, and then you have a delicious, tasty treat. Thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. And if you'd like and subscribe, that would be awesome. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.